People of the internet, it's been another week and another bit of news for Hogwarts Legacy fans. This week it comes to us in the form of a tweet shared by the official Avalanche WB Twitter account. And just to be clear, this is 100% official and was also shared by community manager Chandler Wood as well. Now, there were two big things shown off in this footage. One, clothing for our character, and also what appears to be Goblin Armor. Then they gave us a few more hints by showing several different variations of the character creator, and boy, let me tell you, the level of detail in this, guys, is incredible. Now, one of the first things I did was grab screenshots of each one of these different shots and shared on my Twitter page here. The quality isn't that great, I think, because just Twitter compression when they share videos isn't all that great. So you do lose out on some of that detail, but it at least gives you a quick snapshot view of each item. Now, I will tell you guys straight up, I am not a clothing expert, so very likely that I will get the technical name on some of this wrong, but I think what we have here in this first one is a waistcoat and then a jacket on the outside here. Also has what appears to be either a floral or maybe some sort of star pattern here. But the most striking thing about this one to me is this little emblem here in the top left of the screen. I guess it would be on the top right of the jacket here, but it appears to be some sort of symbol. It looks to me like an O with maybe a wand through it. And I mean, the only thing I can think of is it bears a striking resemblance to some of the logos that we have seen for Ollivanders over the years. In fact, if you take a look at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter right here in Orlando, it looks very, very close to this logo right here. Now, clothing at Ollivanders, I don't believe that is something that is canon or something that we've ever seen before, so I don't think we should just immediately take this as fact and say, oh, they got these clothes from Ollivanders. Instead, I think we should be asking ourselves, A, what that potential logo and or pendant is, and then also why it's there. Now, I'm going to have to go back through the trailer and see if there's any time when we can see this on the main character as well, but you guys may already know. If you do, let me know in the comments below, and we may perhaps talk about it in another video. If we move on to the next one here, this bit of clothing appears to be inspired by Mexican cultures, and the thing that jumped out to me quickly on this one is if you look closely at this waistcoat here, and I think what you see here is a couple of different skull designs in this pattern here. You see one here, one here, one here, one here, and then just a couple more smaller ones kind of scattered throughout. There's also the pendant here right at the top in the very center, and I know this thing has a technical name, but it is just escaping me right now. I cannot think of the actual name of it. Oh wait, is it a bolo tie? I think it's a bolo tie. And then we have the shirt with the high collar here, and this looks to me like a silk material. Again, guys, I am totally out of my element when it comes to clothing. I could be totally wrong on all this, but I think the most striking thing about both of these here is just the level of detail here that we have seen in both these so far, and trust me, that's going to be a theme throughout all of these. Moving on to the next one here, and now we have two different sets of Goblin Armor. One of these has the hands and wrist area completely covered. You see the one on the right here also has a hood. This one to me looks more like maybe like a magic type goblin, a mage of some sort, whereas I could see the one with the full helm and kind of the shoulder pads over here being a more battle type mage. And I know we see both of these in the trailer. I'm almost positive we see them in the gameplay trailer, and this is just a much closer look at that. In terms of any pendants or designs that we see here, we have the belt buckle in the very center, which seems to be some sort of spiral pattern. Again, I'm almost positive that we see that in the trailer somewhere. And then also at the top of the hood, we have this other little design pattern as well. So I don't know if these mean anything, if they're connected to anything specific, or it's more of just the pattern that they're using for the goblin designs in the game. And then the next one is an up-close look at both the gauntlets and the shoulder pad area there, just showing the level of detail that is going into this armor, guys. And I gotta be completely honest, I always expected Hogwarts Legacy to be a good game, to be an engaging game, to be a game that would please the fans, but I don't know that I fully expected the level of graphical fidelity that we're seeing here, because everything we have seen so far just looks fantastic. I know in the trailers we had those characters in the background who their faces kind of didn't look quite right yet, but seeing the level of detail of things like this right here gives me more confidence that they're going to have all of that ironed out by the time of the game's release. Now, I don't know that every single character we come across is going to have level of detail like this, but the fact that this right here, I mean, this is on all the Goblin Armor in the game, you would assume. That, to me, is a great sign. From there, we move into shots that show off the character creation process, and there's just so much to say about these guys. I mean, the level of detail, again, I just keep coming to that word, detail. I'm just going to let these scroll through here for a bit, and I want you to take a look at the variations in the skin tone on all these different characters. Then take a look at the little imperfections that we see in the skin. You see little freckles, you see moles, you see blemishes, the different eyebrows, and all the hair options. They just look so good and so incredibly realistic. By the way, I can't tell you how disappointed I was when I realized that because these characters are 15, there's probably very little chance of us having beards in this game. So I guess when I make my character in Hogwarts Legacy, I'm gonna have to make them a younger version of me, with more hair on top of the head, less hair on the face. Now, after seeing all this, you could be wondering, well, how does this actually look in-game? Well, they actually just confirmed that robe physics are officially in the game. They weren't removed, and I break that down in the video on the right side of your screen now. If you're new here and you want to stay up to date on all the Hogwarts Legacy news, theories, and discussion, then make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.